Good morning, my dear friends. Operator.starsky here. I'm very sorry for the delay because it turns out that the settings that worked yesterday didn't work today, and the problem was apparently because I'm too sleepy yet and I didn't plug it properly. But now everything works and we can check out the most recent updates about Ukraine and around Ukraine. Good morning, Europe. Good morning, everybody who doesn't sleep yet or already. And I really hope that you have your coffee. Ali, as promised, I brought my coffee here. Everything's good. Without further ado, let's check out what we have at this point, all right? So we have an update from the General Staff of Ukraine that report that during the previous day we had, since yesterday, we had 176 attacks recorded along the front line. 56 of them took place in Pokrovsk and 37 in the Novopavlivka. And also, unexpectedly, the North Slobozhansky direction was also activated, and we had 20 attacks there. We have another update from Moldova, by the way. I am very happy to announce, and you probably already know that the PAS, the pro-European party of Maia Sandu, won elections in the parliament in Moldova. Congratulations. I think it's not only a big victory for all of proper Western civilized world, but it's also a big failure for the Russian propaganda, for Russian disinformation and Russian hybrid warfare. So, according to the polls, more than 50%, 50.2% were received by the pro-European party, by the party of Maia Sandu, and the pro-Russian patriotic bloc only took a quarter of votes, a bit less than that. But unfortunately, the pro-European but in reality pro-Russian bloc alternative took almost 8%. Our party of Renato Sati, that positions themselves as pro-European, however they have pro-Russian statements, took 6.2%, and party Democracy at Home, again it's a pro-Romanian party but related to Russia, took 5.62%. It's very interesting. A lot of media are currently saying that basically Moldovans abroad decided the outcome of these elections, but at the same time also at home in Moldova, the Sandu's party took a majority of votes, 44.13%, and pro-Russian bloc of Dodon 28.25%. So it's good. We know that Russians used a lot of their resources to influence these elections. Moldova is fabulous, as Claire says there in the chat. Moldova is absolutely fabulous. What else do we have today? We have update that internationally wanted war criminal Putin signed a new law about the denunciation of European Convention for Prevention of Torture. So basically, Putin himself on 17th of September, which was ratified by the Russian Security Council on 24th of September, basically exited the European Convention for Prevention of Torture and Inhumane. How do you say it in English? I'm sorry, I'm so sleepy. And inhumane management of your prisoners. So it's an international law that was adopted in 1987. We know that according to this law, the conditions of prisoners of war should be checked by European Committee for Prevention of Torture, and now Russia will be basically they already did it. Ukrainian prisoners have never seen any checks, any International Red Cross, any European Committee for Prevention of Torture, but now Russia officially will be able not to allow those experts to check out their prisons. Even in the times of the World War II, there was still access for the International Red Cross to like anywhere, except Russia, by the way. The Red Cross was even able to access, I don't know, German concentration camps, but Russia is a much worse place than that, as it turns out. So we have a list of countries that will be buying American weaponry for Ukraine, according to the PURL program. And we know that among those countries, there's Netherlands with 500 million euro, there's Canada with $500 million, Germany with $500 million, Sweden $275 million, Norway $118.1 million, Belgium 100 million euro, Denmark 580 million Danish crowns or $91 million, Lithuania 30 million euro, Estonia 10 million euro, and Latvia 5 million euro. So the overall sum of money for the support of Ukraine is approximately 2.04 billion euro, or 655 million euro plus $1.48 billion, which is absolutely incredible. And we also have very, very important news from Deputy Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Lieutenant General Ivan Havrilyuk, who said that Ukraine, for the first time, will receive Swedish Gripen fighter jets and also additional F-16 and additional French Mirage aircraft. So BBC asked him when they will arrive to Ukraine and when we will and how many of them will be there. And he said, you will understand when you will see them in the skies of Ukraine. And he said, and the BBC asked, when you said we expect airplanes, did you mean all those airplanes, Mirage, Gripen, or only some of them like F-16? And General Gavrilyuk said, actually, you just named the whole list, all right, but I won't provide you with the details. And among our news, of course, we have other different updates. Some of them are very cringy, some of them are less cringy, but we will read those too. Has anyone ever calculated civilian contribution to Ukraine war? A question from Claire, which I think probably it's very hard to calculate. But it would be extremely interesting to understand how much the people actually helped Ukraine, not their taxes that were invested in the countries, but literally people's help, which I think was maybe 10 times larger than 10 times. I don't even know, like approximately 10 times. I have no idea about the numbers. Maybe even more than that. Than all the support that was provided to Ukraine. That is actually a very interesting question. Like, it would be extremely cool, for example, to have at some point like a list of volunteers, a list of different charity organizations that literally helped Ukraine, so we could understand how much people actually invested into defending Ukraine. Stefan, hello there in the chat. Jasnila, hello as well. But yeah, as Ali says, it's very hard to estimate, like too many different organizations, too many different people. How do you calculate, for example, early donations that were given to individual, for example, officer working somewhere in the army, in the unit, and he then provided his unit with drones or with cars. Such things are very, very easy to, very hard to trace, but at the same time, that would be really cool. That would be really cool to understand. Returning to our news, so we have an update from Alushta, from specifically from the Alushtinsky organization Water of Crimea, that informs its clients, basically, that due to the deficit of the water in the Izabilninsk water reservoir, they will introduce the the schedules of delivering water to the population since 1st of October 2025. The water will be provided to the citizens since 6 to 2022 in Crimea, in Alushta specifically, because this place is occupied by Russians. What can I say? You know, guys, blame Putin for that. Literally, I don't know what to say. We have another information that HIMARS missiles destroyed heating and power plant in Belgorod. So this comes from the Russian media. They say that yesterday 4 HIMARS missiles destroyed the foundation of the facility where the gas turbines were installed, and also the main body of the station was set on fire. So the generation of electricity was stopped, blah, blah, blah. But it's not the funniest thing, my friends. We will see the funniest thing just a bit further there. Prime Minister of Denmark, Mette Frederiksen, said that Copenhagen cannot prove which exactly country stands behind the recent incursions, drone incursions. And by the way, yesterday I made this map of drone incursions into European countries. Actually, it's quite impressive. Check out the most recent video on the UATV. And you will get impressed, actually, because there were incursions in Denmark several times, at least 4 or 5. Norway, there were incursions in France, there were incursions in Germany only over the past week. Yeah, so she said that Copenhagen cannot confirm which countries stands behind those recent incursions using drones, but there's only one country that currently threatens Europe, and it's Russia. Which I completely agree on. If it's not Russia, it must be like, I don't know, Carthage, right? Or whatever. Besides that, however, I would lie to you if I say that there's no other risks for Europe, because we have Orban, and Orban is a big motherfucker. So Ukrainian instructors arrived to Denmark to share their experience with Danish military in frames of countering the UAVs, which is so cool to see, because when the full-scale Russian invasion started, all sorts of partners or friends from abroad, they would invite, for example, Ukrainian soldiers to train them, or they would literally go to Ukraine and train our soldiers and our officers. Now Ukraine is going to other countries, not only to Denmark, by the way, which is very important, but they're already going there, and they train their friends and their allies. And I have a question. If we already have this sort of cooperation, if we have like this very, very close, this tight communication and cooperation with those guys, if our armies were trained together, for example, during the Rapid Trident in Ukraine 2016, 2017, 2020, why Ukraine is still not accepted into NATO? Why we still have this, like, what's breaking the process? Like, we are already cooperating, we share our experience, you provide us your experience to fight properly against Russia, we provide you with our experience on how to defend properly against Russia, how to defend your civilians, how to defend your infrastructure. Why do we still have those unresolved issues with accepting Ukraine to NATO? We have one freaking enemy, right? In Europe specifically, right? I'm talking about European part of our world. We have one specific enemy that threatens us all. And why we're not there? Jay in Kiev, hello my friend, it's so cool to see you there. Stefan, you can definitely plug your campaign here in the chat. You like, my chat is your chat, but also Jay in Kiev, it's very, very nice to see you here joining our chat. Thank you so much for what you're doing. And by the way, a lot of our viewers, oh my God, sorry, my dear friends and family, they say that we should work together, which, by the way, I completely agree on. So if you can, please let me know. Or if you're in that little group of Jonathan Fink, I will please let me know as well. So returning to our news updates, Minister of Defense of Germany, Boris Pistorius, said that Ukraine will receive 2 more air defense complexes Patriot before the end of 2025. And he also said that Germany will keep supporting Ukraine. And he added that every single year, Berlin spends around 9 billion euro to help Ukraine defend itself. So, what else do we have? Another interesting update comes from Iraq, such an unexpected place. But in Iraq, a man was sentenced for recruiting Iraqi people, Iraqi citizens, to fight in Ukraine against Ukrainian army, which is not surprising but interesting. So, according to Associated Press, the sentence was issued based on the law preventing human trafficking, because the dude would receive money for establishing groups, forming those groups of mercenaries and sending them to fight in a different country. Iraqi authorities said that the dude was literally sentenced for recruiting people that were then fighting for Russia. Absolutely beautiful. Viktor Orban said that President Zelensky is harassing him. He said that Ukraine would have collapsed long ago without the support of NATO and the EU, but I would add that Hungary would probably also fail without support of NATO and the EU. And Ukraine is not even in NATO or EU yet. And this very man who literally sent the drones to Ukraine literally last week said that President Zelensky is harassing him. I don't really know when when Prime Minister Viktor Orban speaks about Zelensky. Why does Orban speak on behalf of Hungarian people? Like, it's very hard to understand. Also, we have information that Russian and Hungarian authorities, Hungarian authorities accused Ukraine in preparing a false flag operation by launching the repaired Russian drones at the targets in Poland and Romania in order to drag NATO into this war. Very interesting. I think only the sick mind of like Tucker Carlson could breed such ideas. That's very, very interesting. And I should remind myself to track the chat as well. It's kind of funny. And also we have the recent update from Vance, who had interview with Fox News. And basically he said that reality has changed on the ground. Vance said that Russians are killing a lot of people. They spend a lot of their own personnel and they have nothing to show. And just to remind you, this very man on the video that you see there in the corner is the same dude who basically called Bucha a propaganda tour, who basically called all the people who were massacred by Russians in Bucha a propaganda tour. The truth is, reality didn't change, all right? He was asked what changed, and he said reality on the ground changed. Reality didn't change. Russia all of a sudden didn't start losing a lot of people in like September 2025. What really changed is probably the narrative of J.D. Vance himself. Mickey Chow-Main asks, any German speakers here? Ich lerne, okay, aber it's not really easy. And generally speaking, we have a lot of people from Deutschland right now. Returning to J.D. Vance, reality didn't change. His narratives changed, and the reason his narratives changed is basically because he's a big representative of this populist group sitting there in the White House and speaking different things that change their meaning, like, every single day. So he says that United States are working really hard since the beginning of this administration. I mean, like since late January, and Russians have to wake up and accept the reality. A lot of people die. They don't have anything to show. How many people are there ready to spend? I think we should literally send some teacher from Ukraine, some fucking mentor to JD Vance to fucking explain him. I'm really, really sorry. I just cannot, guys, I cannot keep my emotions inside. Maybe it's because I'm fucking old, but we need somebody to explain him like obvious things because people like JD Vance are freaking poisoned with, years of communicating with MTG's boyfriends, with Tucker Carlson's, and other paid Russian and pro-Russian motherfuckers. They are freaking poisoned. They don't understand reality. They would really benefit from going themselves to places like Bucha, to places like Izum, and finally fucking see the things for themselves with their own eyes. If JD Vance would actually get on a fucking plane and go to Ukraine or go to Poland and travel to Ukraine by train and see himself what is going on, he would be impressed to see like those fields of destroyed Russian armored vehicles since 2022 in Kyiv Oblast, in Kharkiv Oblast, and things like that. He would be fucking impressed. But there is this thing. It's called theory of Dunning-Kruger, that basically says that people who don't know nothing usually think that they know everything. And that man over there in the corner of this screen, he's like a great representative, great confirmation of this theory. It works. It really works. How many people, he asks, how many people is Russia ready to sacrifice? They are ready to sacrifice everyone except Putin. They are ready to sacrifice every fucking man and woman. Why do I know this? It's because I have this experience of living next to Russians, fighting against Russians, reading Russian media, reading media addressed to the Russian internal audience, and I understand what they're talking about. That dude living in United States and I don't know, like being very anxious probably about going abroad for some reasons I cannot explain, he doesn't know shit about it. We need some kind of mentor that would literally sit in the White House and talk to them about this. Please let me know if you agree with me, but it's just so ridiculous when you see such moments of people like J.D. Vance being fucking enlightened all of the sudden. Oh, it turns out that Russia actually doesn't have anything to show. Dude, you're looking at the maps in Ukraine since January, like 8 fucking months, and you just realized that nothing changes much. Holy fuck. Guys, I know that like a lot of people there like say different things about MAGA, which I partially agree with, but on the other hand, guys, I never blame people for that, because unfortunately I've seen such things happening in Ukraine as well, when people were voting Yanukovych, and after 2014 all the people were like, oh, Yanukovych bad, but someone elected him, so let's be honest with ourselves. So another interesting update coming from Terror Russia. We have something really, really cool to talk about. So In Belgorod, as you probably know, in Belgorod Oblast of the Terrorist Federation, electricity disappeared for reasons nobody can explain. So in the Russian monitoring channels from Belgorod, it is said that Шебекино, Дубовое, Майское, Стрелецкое, Репное, Северное, all those settlements lost power. And just so you could understand, unfortunately, I think I cannot provide you with sound here. Let me see if I can, because if it's possible, that would be really cool. No, unfortunately, you will not hear the sound, but generally it looks like this. Boom. Just so you could understand, right? So it's like a footage literally from Belgorod yesterday, all right? So there's electricity, and then there's no electricity, and the dude keeps recording. So there were several impacts on the Russian power plant, and again, why did this happen? Well, it's because eye for an eye. It's because it was announced that we will be striking Russian energy infrastructure as well, not only Russian refineries. Since Russians are striking our power plants, we will be striking their power plants. I think it's fair. On the 4th year of war, I think probably it's time, all right? So there were several impacts on the Belgorod power plant, and the electricity disappeared. Official explanation that was issued exactly the moment when it happened, and you can see it on your screen. Again, we're talking about the most truthful, the most honest Russian media, all right? So in Rosseti, in the Russian organization responsible for their electricity, they say that blackout in Belgorod and other settlements of the Belgorod Oblast are related to bad weather condition. I think, the wind just like blew the electricity away. Keith Kellogg, who, by the way, I think he's still in Ukraine, he's still in Kiev, working hard. Keith Kellogg stated that Trump allowed Ukraine to strike Russia using the long-range weaponry. However, he said that Pentagon didn't always give such permission. So the Fox News journalist tried to detailize, tried to ask the details about this, and he said that considering the statements made by Trump and Vice President Vance and Rubio, he said the answer is yes, Ukraine can strike deep, and there are no exceptions, no sacred land that Ukraine cannot reach. What else do we have? Where does it come from? This one comes from Sevastopol. This one comes from the occupied Sevastopol. Again, it's from the Russian monitoring channel, where they report that since today, since yesterday, basically, it was 29th of September. So since yesterday, Russian fuel blends like AI 100, 95, 92 will be limited to 30 liters to one car or one canister. So if you arrived on a car, you can choose if you want to refuel your car or if you want to top up your canister. So basically we can see that this crisis, the deficit of fuel, is continuing in the Russian occupied Crimea. Basically, yesterday I researched this topic. It turns out that there, there are very, very big issues right now with fuel on the occupied peninsula and also in the Far East, in the central and southern parts of Terror Russia. How exactly does it happen, that Russia, the biggest exporter of gas, of oil, of resources around the world, doesn't have enough fuel to literally provide for its citizens or provide for the citizens on the occupied territories? I have no idea, and actually it's very interesting that a lot of Russians are asking the same question. They want to understand how did it happen that we cannot provide our people with fuel anymore. And the answer to that is basically because Ukraine hit 16 out of 38 existing Russian oil refineries, and some of them were hit multiple times. So basically at this very moment, Ukraine has decreased the production of oil in the Terrorist Federation by 1 million barrels per day, which is absolutely fantastic, I think. What else do we have? So Ukraine and United States will have a meeting to discuss the mutual production of drones. This is according to the statement of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. They say that Ukrainian delegation chiefed by Deputy Minister of Defense Sergei Boyev already went to the United States, and there they will discuss together with their American colleagues all the issues regarding the mutual production of drones. What sort of drones will they be talking? It's still unknown, it's classified, all right? But I think they will be talking about the interceptor drones and most probably the long-range drones. One thing I can tell for sure is, for example, United States, and specifically United States Army, they need several months probably to adapt to the changing situation. For example, neither United States nor European armies right now, none of them are prepared for the new type of warfare that we see in Ukraine and that takes place in Ukraine for already years. And United States, for example, because they have huge resources and a lot of personnel and basically human resources, they can adapt their doctrine very, very fast. We're talking months to the warfare like this. And I'm not sure who took this decision in the United States, but the decision, as far as I can tell, was very simple and very effective. They just said, okay, let's learn Ukrainian experience, because Ukraine is currently the only country that literally stopped Russia, that fights Russian terrorists effectively, and let's just take their experience and change our army and our doctrine accordingly. And I think it was a proper solution. It was a proper decision. So previously also Volodymyr Zelensky, Ukraine's president, said that Ukraine will offer the United States the deal regarding the UAVs, and most probably we see the result of such deal. Yesterday, Ukrainian Neptune missiles have hit Karachevsky factory Elektrodetal, according to the statement of the Ukrainian Navy. All right, we can see some of really, really interesting pictures, footage from the ground. It's good. It's good. In Dagestan, what the hell? In Dagestan, people were given free food. All right, they had like an event, and they were given free plov. Plov is kind of rice, very good by the way. Plov and things like that, and Pyrishki, guys, how to translate pyrishki in English language? It's basically, it's not pies, because pie is a big thing. Like, for example, if you have a bakery, which is basically a dough with something inside, some filling, like uh, meat or kapusta or potato. Please let me know how you call it, because I'm lost. Like, pyrozhok is like pie is a different word. It's not a proper word to describe it. Uh, not croissants, of course. However, it looks like croissants. I need experts. And basically not pierogi. However, pastries, pasty, no, not dumplings. Definitely not dumplings. Wait, is it pasty? Pasty. Yeah, that's pasty. For sure. Oh my god, I learned a new word thanks to you, my friends. So yeah, basically this is what we call pyrishki. And in Dagestan they were giving out free pyrishki and free plov, and of course, because they're Russians, Dagestani, but still no fucking difference. They went there with like plastic bags and started literally putting that food inside, and a fight emerged. And just so you could understand what I'm talking about, so here we can see those amazing Russian people being very, very happy and polite, and coming there in huge number to grab whatever they can. And fighting for food, of course, because if you're a Russian, you have to fight for food to survive, right? Um, that poor boy would bad. My God, they bring kids there, and look at those wild people. Oh my God, free food! Grab it! Grab as much as you can carry. Do you remember when the full-scale war started and Russians all of a sudden had those like sugar shortages in Russia, and then bread shortages, and then what they had, like egg shortages, chicken shortages. Did they have fish shortages? I don't remember. Yeah, but it's like it's always so sad to see, people literally fighting for food. Uh, it's so sad because you understand that not only like this is part of what they are, and like we're not accustomed to this, all right? So one of the dudes there on the screen says, let me remove this one for you. One of the dudes says, my classmate was bitten. That you can see like a woman biting a guy on this photo. He says, my classmate was bitten by a woman for rice. I don't know what to add here, guys. This is Russia, right? This is Russia. Don't be surprised, right? So Ukrainian armed forces shared an interesting footage of Russian Lancet being intercepted by Ukrainian drone. You can see it there on your screen. Ukrainian interceptor drone hit Russian Lancet, Russian loitering munition. This is how it works. And also here we can see the Samara and Pazet, oh my god, Samara refinery in Russia. And we can see that Russians are now using those metal constructions, basically like metal web, spider web or whatever, to protect their facilities from Ukrainian drones and Ukrainian missiles. This is what they have to do now to keep Ukrainian drones away. Will it help them? I highly doubt that. Hungarian providers started limiting access to Ukrainian media for Hungarian citizens. Guys from Hungary, if you're there in the chat, please let me know if it's true. It would be very interesting to check it out. And they say that already the Hungarian government has blocked the access to Европейская правда, European Truth. At the same time, the access to Ukrainian media, some of Ukrainian media are still there. Please let me know, guys. We have this Европейская правда, I don't know. Such a shame that still a lot of our media and a lot of our news portals are not translated in like English language and stuff like that. But please let me know if it's true. United Kingdom will deploy its air defenses in Denmark to help them fight against the unknown UAVs. Lucky Strike, hello my friends. Martin UK, hello, good morning to you. Do you have tea or coffee? I think it's a funny question to ask a person from United Kingdom, but I just want to check. Okay. Danish government came to a conclusion that the UAVs that were flying over its airports over the past week were controlled by professional people, and British Minister of Defense Healy said that nobody should have any doubts that we are experiencing the level of activity and aggression in the gray zone that is a challenge to us and other countries. It's very interesting. Jason says Orban will flee to Moscow when he gets kicked out. Where else? I mean, where else will he go? He definitely won't go to like Poland, for example, right? People don't like him there, and definitely not to Ukraine. However, on the other hand, why not? Like in Ukraine, he would probably do something useful, right? Or might do something useful. So we have an update regarding tonight's strike, because again, my friends, tonight there was another airstrike on Ukraine, and we already have update published by the Ukrainian Air Defense and Ukrainian Air Force. Mickey says, I'm from the United Kingdom, but I always have coffee in the morning. The whole Ukrainian kingdom was founded or was built on tea. This is what we're being taught in schools, all right, in Ukraine. So if you have coffee in the morning, you should also drink tea. You should compensate throughout the day. So according to Chernihiv Oblenergo, early in the morning, a Ukrainian energy power facility was hit by Russian terrorists. 26,000 clients in Bobrovitsa and local settlements are now without power. And regarding the update on this airstrike, the Ukrainian Air Force published the update saying that 46 out of 65 Russian aerial targets were intercepted. The Russians launched 65 drones coming from Bryansk, Oryol, Kursk, Milerovo, Primorsko-Akhtarsk, and temporarily occupied Crimea. A majority of those drones were Shaheds, Shahed 136. They say that 19 of them reached their targets, and there were explosions recorded on 6 locations, and also in 2 locations there were cases of falling debris, so there was probably some damage caused as well. So yeah, one of those Shaheds unfortunately hit the power facility in Bobrovitsa in Chernihiv Oblast of Ukraine. In Sumy, okay, this is like an update, but we have information that in Sumy a whole family was killed as a result of the Russian strike, including kids. United States will deport around 100 people to Iran. Which is interesting because I believe that a lot of those people are searching for like political asylum or some kind of protection in the United States because they have a reason. And also the New York Times says that this deportation was coordinated with the Ministry of External Affairs of Iran. That's interesting. So we have another video, guys. I will fix it next time so you would have sound and stuff like that. Unfortunately, what you see on your screen right now is what I have on my iPad, and I'm not able to provide you with the sound from the iPad yet, but I will fix that next time, I promise. But so the Russians have like this Christian holiday, and this woman is crisscrossing and shows like, thank God we have this statue now. And the dude that records the video says like, why are you so happy? Why thank God? Like, this dude, Vladimir Lenin, actually destroyed the church. And she's like, well, so what? So, before I show you this next video, again, friends, I'm very sorry that I cannot provide you with the sound at this moment. But before I show you this next video, it's extremely cringy. I think it deserves to be shown in some of the Russian cringe sections in the upcoming videos. So, during elections of Putin in Russia, they would often show different social advertisement. And in this advertisement, they would spook Russian citizens with kind of what's gonna happen if like Putin is not elected. And in one of those advertisements, which by the way was made in 2018 according to the according to the source, they show this. All right. So, dude wakes up in the morning because someone rings the bell, and he opens the door, and he can see the general and the draft office, and they do this funny, like gesture. And the general says, "We are drafting you," and the Russian is like, "But I'm 52," and they're like, "The age was increased. The draft age was increased." And the dude is like, by whom? And the general says, by our president. All right. And the funny thing, of course, is that they're showing like that black man over there, black Russian serviceman. And what this should symbolize in the Russian imagination, it should symbolize the influence of the United States, right? Because United States, they have people of different cultures and different races. Russia is a monocultural, well, kind of monocultural country. They don't have people of other races and other cultures. And this should kind of spook people. Like, oh my God, do you imagine like black Russians in Russia? Jesus Christ, help us. Oh my God, what a horror. You know, black Russians. So basically, Putin's party, Единая Россия, was making such social advertisement for people in 2018, 4 years before the Russian full-scale invasion of Ukraine. So, like, look at what happens if you don't elect Putin, right? 4 years later, basically, 7 years later, what do they have now? Now they have black mercenaries from Africa that are widely invited to Russia and given citizenship and also sent to the front lines. They are given jobs in Russian plants, combining together, you know, Russian UAVs, Russian Shaheds, Russian Orlans. So basically, what you see on the screen, what they were spooking people in Russia with, is now Russian reality. The draft age is increased, of course, because, as you probably remember, the Russian mobilization of 2022 and Russian covered mobilization of different people. Nobody cares about the age. And basically this funny army, like, oh my God. The horror that Putin's party tried to portray on the Russian screens is now Russian reality. How crazy is that? This is insane. But again, guys, they're showing like black people as you know, something bad, you know, like on the Russian television. Like at the same time, however, they have Buryats, they have Yakuts, they have actually a lot of national minorities that they conquered and assimilated with Russia, right? With the rest of the Russian people. They have, again, like Caucasians, like Dagestani, South Ossetians, North Ossetians, and things like that. But only like 7 years ago, they were showing black people on the screen in order to scare Russian people. How cool is that? Like, how can you imagine that in a normal country? All right, in a normal country, when like a people with a different skin color is shown on a TV, and the viewers go, "Oh my God, Jesus Christ, Господи помоги!" It's Russia, guys. It's Russia. Actually, Tucker Carlson should have shown this stuff when he came to Russia. He should have shown this stuff. All right, how Russians treat people of colors in Russia since forever, right? He should have shown like the reality. So we also have updates that Kremlin is trying to represent the American Tomahawks that were announced to be delivered to Ukraine as new and dangerous escalation in order to stop the United States from delivering these weapons to Ukraine. Not surprised at all, but the problem is there are no tomahawks in Ukraine yet, and I'm not really sure if we will see that in the nearest future, because we also have an announcement that, generally speaking, on 1st of October in the United States, a shutdown may be introduced. Guys, have you heard anything about this? Because I don't know. We already have like a fight in the chat how to call people of different, skin color. Guys, there was a movement, Black Lives Matters, and that is why, as a respect to this movement, I'm calling those people accordingly. All right. Again, Carlson feels the same. Probably he does. Considering what he was saying about the Black Lives Matters, 100%. Carlson, like, the reason he came to Russia and the reason he showed like all that beauty of monocultural Russian Empire was to make it more attractive for Americans, and specifically for like ultra-right conservative Americans who stand against, racial equality and things like that, and that are terrified with the idea that, I don't know, their country may one day have more like black population, for example, and less white population. Oh my God, Jesus Christ! What a tragedy! Why are people still scared of that? Like, I honestly, I just have no idea. But anyways, and Tucker Carlson went there to show Russia and make it more attractive to like those people, who come to Russia to find like a white wife, for example, or like country without homosexuals, which, by the way, the winner of the Russian intervention that we could see like the other day, the Vietnamese singer with rather interesting name, Dick Fuck. I shit you not, this is his name. So, like, he's gay, and in Vietnam, for example, he did a lot of like music videos dedicated to like homosexual relations and stuff like that. Most probably because not a lot of Russians actually watch Vietnamese music, and generally, Vietnamese, not really acquainted with Vietnamese show business. They invited this dude, and this dude literally sang on the Russian stage, and he won the contest in Russia. And now everybody is showing like his music videos, because people decided to, like, they asked themselves, who is this beautiful singer Dick Fuck from Vietnam? YouTube, please don't ban me for that, because this is his name, right? Dick Fuck or Dick Fook. Dick. Anyways, Mr. Dick. So, Russian people decided to get more acquainted with his art and his music, so they opened YouTube, they Googled who this man is, and they saw this amazing video of like, I don't know, two young men dancing together. And question emerged, how come in a country where like LGBT officially, according to the Russian law, recognized as extremist organization, how come like a gay singer from a different country could even sing on a stage? It's interesting. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, but the reality is that Trump. Oh my God, why am I keep mentioning this person on my streams. The reason that Tucker Carlson's report from Russia was actually not complete was that he should have actually shown, for example, beautiful people from North Korea, all those workers working on the Russian factories, building Russian drones. He should have shown people from Africa, again, coming to Russia, receiving citizenship, and being sent straight to the war and die in Ukrainian Donbass. This is the kind of reality that he should have shown in his videos. He's been to Russia twice, and none of that was shown. I have no idea why. But anyways, again, so interesting to see that, in 2018, the Russian population was spooked, scared with those terrifying videos showing people with like different skin color that may eventually occupy Russia in case nobody votes for Putin. Now everybody voted for Putin, and Russian people are actually explained again in the Russian media that we are creating new villages for people with Russian soul coming to Russia from Africa, from United States, from Canada, from North Korea. Your nationality, your ethnicity, your race doesn't matter if you have a Russian soul, Russian values, and basically your Russian soul and Russian values means that basically you should be prepared to die for Putin in Ukraine, in a foreign country, because this is what happened. The Crimean bridge was stopped this morning, all right, so this is a new update. Crimean bridge was stopped. There were explosions recorded in Volgograd. Since 1:30 until 4:15 a.m., the local witnesses said that they've heard multiple explosions concentrated around Ek Oil and Volga-Himneft, around the Russian oil production facilities. And also it is reported that that's fourth attack over the past 7 days. I approve. Why not? Jason says, Dick fuck. Okay, guys, his name is not funny because his parents probably didn't know what it means in English language, and generally speaking, why should they care, right? And also, I can butcher the name, which was probably something that happened, but it's only gay if the horse is a unicorn. If the horse is a unicorn. I literally, a couple of days ago, I literally registered my new metal band called the Unicorn Squad. I'm not really sure if I should keep it as a metal band or as an OnlyFans page, but stay away from unicorns. They're good. So, Crimean bridge needs to be redesigned permanently. It will, my friends. It will. I'm sure that Ukrainian intelligence directorate will most probably surprise us with something else. We had another update from Orban, who recently in his interview on the Hungarian television, he basically admitted that the drones that went all the way to Ukraine, to Zakarpattia region, they were basically Hungarian. What he said was that it doesn't matter if those drones were Hungarian or not, because Ukraine is not an independent and sovereign country. He said that in frames of Ukraine being supported by the European Union and NATO, and I don't even know how to react properly to such rhetorics coming from a dude that goes to Kremlin like he's working there, and at the same time the dude ruling a European country that is part of EU, part of NATO. I just don't know. Remember Mariupol, 100% iron. We all remember about Mariupol, about the guys that are still held in the Russian captivity. And we also have just a Dutch guy. Hello, my friends. Hello. They're in the chat. It's really, really cool to see you there as well. Orban needs to fire his hairdresser. I agree on that because he partially looks like Putin. I mean, like the way we call Putin in Ukraine, right? With that interesting shape on his head. Yes, so this update was already mentioned that Germany will deliver 2 Patriot complexes to Ukraine by the end of 2025. So they're talking about complexes, not like launchers, but the whole complexes, maybe like the whole batteries. That'd be great. And also Russians report again that Ukrainians were hitting the Bryansk Oblast using the American HIMARS systems. Most obviously, Ukrainian defenders were using ATACMS, not GMLRS. And also yesterday, that's actually something that I forgot to mention in my yesterday's report on the UATV. Hello, my friends. Don't worry, because this stream is being recorded anyways. Arthur is licking his plate now. Jesus Christ, I only have like a bunch of peanuts here. I didn't have breakfast yet. So you're luckier than me. So one thing that I forgot to mention yesterday during my update on the UATV is that Ukrainian defenders have shot down Russian helicopter. And that dude, he's no more. He's not with us anymore, all right? Margarita Simonyan was saying Ukraine rest in peace in 2014, but yesterday she was burying her own husband. Because karma works. Oh, this one. Oh my God, my friends. All right, do you want some more Russian cringe? Please tell me yes, because this is something absolutely hilarious. All right, yesterday I found this video accidentally on the internet, and I just like, it tore me apart, okay? And I would love to share it with you because it's absolutely fucking hilarious. So the dude decided, Russian dude in Russia decided to give his lady iPhone 16, like the latest model, all right? And in this video, he basically records his reaction, her reaction. Her reaction to this phone. He shows like, oh, she's so happy. You don't really need to see to hear what is going on, like nothing special. but just watch and tell me if you noticed anything wrong, all right? Once again, it's iPhone 16, like the most recent model. This woman was dreaming about the iPhone 16, and this Russian guy decided to finally fulfill her dreams and bring her the iPhone 16. iPhone 17 is out already, whatever, it's iPhone 16 on the video, all right? Please watch it closely and please tell me if you like noticed anything interesting, all right, about this one. Okay, so he's like, so I am going to give this iPhone 16 to my loved one. Let's see her reaction. And he walks through this apartment to his girl and he goes like, close your eyes. And she's like, oh my God. And he's like, oh, look what I have. And she's like, oh, is this the one I was dreaming about? And he's like, yay. And she's like, yay, you're the best husband in the world. I like, guys, keep watching. Just tell me if you noticed anything specifically interesting, like, all right, on this video, because I had to. No, guys, it's a genuine iPhone 16 that costs a lot, generally speaking. Yes, we already have one proper conclusion there in the chat, all right? Because I watched it like 3 times before I realized what the fuck did I just see on this video, okay? Because it was just so hilarious. Guys, like, what the fuck is that place? Okay, what the fuck is that? Those walls. Don't they have like glass on the window? I'm not sure, but I think like the window is blocked with like piece of plywood or something like that. The fuck is going on in that place, in that apartment? Like, dude, you have money to give your lady iPhone 16. She meets you in the freaking barn for pigs because you don't care. And I can bet my left kidney, which is one of my better kidneys, that they probably don't even have like a toilet inside this apartment or like a working toilet, because that fucking place looks so like a crack house or something like that. The technical term is a hovel. Oh my God. So basically, you can see what I mean here. I was kind of surprised to see that video, to say the least. But generally, this is how they live. This is the way they. Like, you live your whole life in that place, okay? And then you come to like Bucha, for example, or Irpin, and you go like, what? People have air conditioners in Ukraine? But we were told Ukrainian people live in worse conditions than us. We were told Ukraine is poorer country than Russia. Why the hell do they have glass in their windows? Oh, look, they have so many iPhones in their stores. Let's take them. So just so you could understand, right? Just like, and guys, that shit is typical. They would get like a credit or like a loan in a bank. They would buy like an iPhone, and they would keep living in a fucking like landfill, all right? But they would have like an iPhone, and it's a very, very typical type of mentality that I find so alien personally. Like you gotta be freaking sick, I think, in order to think like that. Uh, yeah. So we have other updates from the insider regarding the Russian deficit of oil and fuel on the gas stations. So they say that in the Sevastopol, we already read that one, that they have a quota of 30 liters per person when they buy fuel. And they also started to limit the fuel in central Russia and Povolzhia. So according to the insider, and the insider is actually Russian-speaking media that provides a lot of very interesting insights. They say that Russia introduced new quotas in central Russia and Povolzhia that vary between 10 and 20 liters per client. In Zabaikalsky Krai, they say that there were shortages, also limited fuel cells were seen in Khabarovsk Krai, and basically, yeah, they also admit that the shortage of fuel in Terror Russia is, of course, directly related with Ukrainian strikes on Russian oil refineries. Here we have another very good video of this one I forgot to mention yesterday on my updates. So Ukrainian drone has hit, and we're talking about the FPV drone, has hit a Russian, I think Mi-8s. We can see Russian Ka-52 flying there, but Mi-8 was hit there on your video. And Russian blogger fighter bomber, Russian like known blogger fighter bomber is... no, this one is Voyevoda, this one is different. But fighter bomber also talked about it. So another blogger says everything's fine, the guys were picked up and evacuated, everything's all right. And also the Ukrainian defenders shed their pants while reporting about the type of this helicopter. So again, another interesting way of thinking, like another interesting example of the Russian mentality. They lost a helicopter, but Ukrainians shed their pants. How cool is that? I love this. I love the way they describe this shit. You know, like they will be fucking dying, but saying that we will live forever. It's so. I love it. I love it. You know, when I read Russians who like literally lost a helicopter, but they say, "Hi, Ukrainians, ha, you suck," you know, this makes my day brighter because I understand that I have at least some more proper connection to reality. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, so drones attacked the Karachev Elektrodetal in Bryansk. It's very good. And the election results in Moldova. So basically, my dear friends, we have finished checking the recent updates. Wait, Russians have increased the protection of the Crimea bridge. Aha! That's interesting. So Russians introduced some kind of new barrier to protect the Kerch bridge. As you can see there on your screen, they built a bunch of there are barges, there are two barriers built from like wood or something like that, some interesting constructions. To protect the Russian bridge from Ukrainian drones. Well, it's okay, we will use missiles next time. It's not a problem. So in 2024, they already basically had such barriers, similar barriers, but during the storms that took place in the Kerch Strait, those barriers were destroyed because they were built out of shed bricks and branches, and Russians created two more barriers, and visually they look a bit more better than before. What else do we have? Russian Moscow Patriarchate, blah blah. Trump wants to address his nation. It will be around 18 p.m. Ukrainian time, 18 p.m. obviously, Ukrainian time, or 17 p.m. German time. So former Ukrainian president is delivering his supplies to the Ukrainian defenders. Like this one, like this fifth channel that I'm reading, it's actually funded by Ukrainian former president Poroshenko. So of course, you will see messages like that, you know, like former Ukrainian President Poroshenko is collecting drones and cars for Ukrainian defenders, which is, again, like it's a proper thing. Yeah, and we have several more pictures coming from, where is it? From Crimea. You can see, for example, that here 92nd grade fuel is absent. 95th grade is also absent. 95th is absent. Those are like the prices for the fuel. That's interesting. Guys, let's compare the price. 88 Russian rubles is... how much is that in dollars? So let's divide it by 100 as far as I remember. Please let me know what price for fuel is there in, for example, United States. All right. So, for example, 88 divided by 100, it will give us 0.88 American cent per liter. That's per liter. So basically you have more or less, but do you pay per liter or per different quantity? Because in this part of the world we use like metrics, all right? $3 a gallon, and gallon is like 4 USA does you shit. How much is the gallon, guys? I forgot. Gallon is like 4 liters, something like that. I don't remember. 3 per US gallon, but how much is the gallon? ChatGPT, please let me know. I don't want to make screenshot of my screen, all right? Dear ChatGPT, oh wise creature living in my phone, please let me know how much is the US gallon in liters. I don't know.
The wise and mystical conversion question. Absolutely, I can help. So 1 US gallon is actually about 3.785 liters. So there you go. You got a nice little nugget of wisdom for your day.
One more time, how much is that? I missed you.
Yeah, no problem at all. So 1 US gallon is about 3.785 liters. So roughly 3.8 if you just want to round it up a tiny bit.
Yeah, so I was right, basically. It's like almost 4 liters. That's interesting. That's good to know. Tom, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I had to ask ChatGPT. You gotta like train him from time to time because he gets lazy. So it's $2.70, almost $3 for almost 4 liters. That's good to know. Is that Neil deGrasse? I would love to have Neil on my stream, frankly speaking. Or like to be on his stream. I have so many cool questions to him. Like, for example, when you go to like Disneyland and take a photo with Mickey Mouse, does a person inside a Mickey Mouse smile? Or, for example, when you drive a car, does the air inside your tires spin with your wheels? Those are like crazy mysteries that won't allow me to sleep. Okay, my dear friends, I think it's a good opportunity to switch to our daily routine. I know that most of you are working or have job, or maybe not. Maybe they have other more important things to do. And thank you so much for staying with me on the stream. We checked out some of the most recent updates in the media. We checked out some of the Russian cringe. And I am very, very happy that we can actually do it together with you, my friends and family. So we'll see you later. I will be going straight to the kitchen and have something good. Angelika, if you are watching this, I'm eating the meat. I really do. Yesterday I ate 1 pack, and the day before I also ate 1 pack, and I don't regret it. I will keep eating until I finish everything. Thank you so much. Because like that Bavarian pork is just, it smells so good. It's just so fresh. It's just, oh my God. So see you later. Please have some breakfast if you still haven't, and we'll see you next time during our next streams. Have a nice day, and as always, be safe. Bye-bye.